Hello guys, it's Hypercell here, and I just wanted to just kind of explain what all happened. I know I made that video explaining why I wasn't uploading or just doing any activity on my channel, and I just kind of figured you guys would deserve an explanation, or explain what happened through the cancer, the relapse of my cancer. And basically it's started, like, I believe the beginning of last year's summer, and like I said in the last video, that we went for my MRI, and we had just came into the doctor's office like normal, and he put us in one of the back rooms. It had kind of a good explanation, is that he had told us that the tumor had grown in my head and had left, besides the one in my head, had left 7 more tumors down my spine. And that's where because of the placements of the tumors in my spine, it could have paralyzed me if we would have waited longer, but thankfully I'm not paralyzed. But after that, he left the decision up to me to wait a little bit, like wait a couple days or something to get like a full decision, or if we should start immediate chemotherapy. And we ended up starting the immediate chemotherapy because, knowing that I was just a couple weeks, month maybe, from being paralyzed, I didn't want to wait any longer. So I gave them permission basically to start immediate chemotherapy, and I went and had surgery for my port. And it's just, we were clear for about 2 years. I was cancer free, or at least we thought, but as we knew of, the tumor was gone for 2 years. But then when we started the immediate chemotherapy, we had, I don't have like the dates or anything, so sorry about that, but it was about 5 or 6 treatments of pretty intense chemotherapy. It wasn't the intensest that I've had, or that was coming anyways. And one of the chemo medicines that I was taking ended up causing my hearing loss significantly, and was one of the medicines for my transplant that I had to do, which was kind of a bummer. It was a bummer that I had to do more of that medicine, or get some more of that medicine for the transplant, but in all, it's worth it, really. Even though we had to spend the money to get hearing aids and all that stuff, it really is worth it, guys. And like I said in the last, never take your life for granted. But anyways, after after the like 5 or 6 treatments of chemotherapy came, we waited a little while, and then came the transplant part of the equation, or part of the treatment. And this involved the medicine that caused my hearing loss, a couple other medicines, but before we even got into the transplant, I had to go in to the adult side of the Vanderbilt Hospital and get 2 million, I believe, 2 million white blood cells taken out of me. And somehow I managed to actually get it all. Usually, the doctor said usually people aren't usually able to get that much. So they have to use other people's that are the same blood type and all that. And they just usually take it from somebody else's. But I was able to get 2 million white blood cells extracted out of me for the transplant. And that was all before the chemo started, because the chemotherapy kills the white blood cells. So they wanted to extract as many out of me as they could, so that they could kill off all the white blood cells, which the white blood cells' purpose in our body is to try to heal you. And I know it sounds weird to take all of them out, but they needed to get rid of all the white blood cells that I already had. And then come transplant time, they would put them back in. And their hope is that it goes in and wipes out all the cancer and the tumors. And the chemotherapy before the transplant got rid of pretty much all of the ones in my back. I believe all of them, actually, in my back. But then I think there was like 1 or 2 still left, one in my head and maybe one down my spine. I'm not sure. It's been a little while since it happened. But basically they put these white blood cells in basically liquid nitrogen, or what is liquid nitrogen, and freeze them. And when we were doing the transplant, they take all the white blood cells out of the liquid nitrogen and they thaw it out a little bit to like a slushy, but they thaw it out to that, and then they put it back in me, basically. And it's odd enough to, it's really odd because they wanted me to have like candy through it. And I get why, because when they're pushing the white blood cells in, it tastes like creamed corn. It honestly does. And they say everybody tastes creamed corn when they have one of these transplants. And I can see why. It really does taste like creamed corn. Or at least you think it tastes like creamed corn when it goes in. But it was like, I don't know, I think it was like 3 or 4 hours that I had that going on. That they had they pushed all the 2 million white blood cells. That's why it takes so long back into me. And yeah, I got a good nap out of that. But, yeah, all of this went on through that summer and half of the semester of the school year. I ended up going back to school in the start of the second semester with my port still in. I hadn't taken my port out, and the transplant wipes out all of your immunizations, so I had none of those left in me, and I was going to school where, especially in the flu season, I was going back to school. And basically now I am back on homebound because it's too dangerous for me to be at school with all this sickness, this flu that's going around, this new type of flu that is untreatable, I've heard of. I just can't get that. I can't get my immunizations back until, I don't know, like March or something. I don't know why it takes that long, but it happens. That's what happened during the whole thing. Just wanted to let you guys know about what all happened, and it was tough. It was a tough road to go down, but in the end, it's worth it. It really is. But, guys, I just want you to live your life to the fullest, and parents, like my mom tries to say, listen to your kids when they're complaining about this, because my first round, we said that I really never complained about anything, but I was just going to the nurse's office back and back. And that's how he found my tumor. So listen to your kids. That's about it. I'll see you guys. Leave a like, subscribe, comment. See ya.